Kinfo. Let me see what they talking about. Let me see what they talking about. Let me see what they talking about. Pull up a chair. Come over here to the round table where we break it all down. Say what? We about to break bread right now. Without further ado, you feel me? Without further ado, appreciate y'all coming through. Make sure check out the title. You know what I'm talking about? We talking about walking light. You feel me? Being one with light and the understanding of the ways of light. How else are you gonna be one with light? You feel me? Putting light around you. Things that you might have come light to. What's up with Alonzo? Need to get with your MIG. You feel me? Need to get with you. Appreciate y'all coming through. Make sure you share that live. Tap that screen, hit that like button. For my family on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. For my family on TikTok, make sure y'all tap that screen. Send me a follow. I will follow you back. Good to see you, Kelly G. Again, y'all, we talking about the ways of light. Walk light. You feel me? Be one with the light. What's up, Pussy? Sending positive energy to you, Queen. Good to see you as well. Good to see you as well. Make things that's going to surround you and remind you of the ways of light, like sigils. Don't let things weigh on you. If you know anything about sigils are meant to be reminders or meant to be so-called amplifiers of the energy around us. Remember, we want to bring our atmosphere with us instead of falling into certain things. What's up with it, JoJo? Good to see you, love. Instead of falling into certain things. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Please tap that screen, share the live, save a life out here. You feel me? Notice the time and the numbers that affect us. As our DNA is one with the inception of numbers, letters, etc. You feel me? Meaning we are one with our ancestors. Then our ancestors come up with these certain things. Peace to you, Luna. I didn't get to catch that whole name. Then our ancestors come up with these certain things, and for us to vibrate at a certain rate to where we can bring things into existence that we want to bring into place, we must first, again, take account for ourselves and our capabilities in order to vibrate at a certain rate. Recognize that there's certain things as, like, I think it's called a caloric grid, where, if something happens in a certain area, there's a certain energy signature that is there for a certain period of time. You feel me? Until that area is blessed or until that energy is, less, until it dissipates from that area. So that area must be respected, as well as certain things that happen amongst us must be respected, meaning the proper light must be brought to them in order to keep these things from keep perpetuating themselves. If we don't get to the root of it, we can never address the side effect. It'll just keep on growing back, keep growing back, keep growing back. Appreciate you, JoJo, for tapping that screen. Appreciate you. Bringing light to situations that are becoming of us. Stop celebrating our losses. You feel me? Stop celebrating our losses. That's the main thing. Stop celebrating our losses. Bring light to things that are going to edify us. Of course, we want to teach critical thinking or the ability to think for ourselves. And that's going to come from giving the proper information to ourselves, being truthful with ourselves. You feel me? Thank you, Lady J. You feel me? That's what it's going to come from. Not from us hiding certain things from each other because we scared the other one going to judge us, starting with our children, to the point we don't even prepare them for life. Because we don't hear from them the certain things of life that's necessary to even sustain the life that you live in, so they can determine whether or not they want to go into it themselves. Instead, they're left to perpetuate or do the same thing their parents did. As far as I'm concerned, maintaining the status quo is not getting us anywhere. All the advances in our, existing come from us advancing. Thank you, Shaibo. Good to see you. Come from us thinking past the moment, transcending the moment to bring forward other moments. But if you're so weighed down from what you didn't do the last time opportunity, aka obstacles, came around, then guess what? You won't do nothing this time around as well. Appreciate y'all coming in. If you could, tap that screen, share the live, please. Save a life out here. This is a conversation of light. Others need to learn the ways of light and be one with the ways of light. You feel me? Be as the light. Have a gentle touch. Speak in a gentle tone. You feel me? Speak in a gentle tone. It ain't hard. You know, for some of us, we might have to get into a certain character. You feel me? We might have to get into a certain character in order for us to tap in to the ways that's going to be becoming of us being light. Thank you, Kimberly, for coming in and tapping that screen. Thank you so much for the paper crane, Michelle. Appreciate you investing in me as I invest in you. For a lot of us, it's going to take for some reprogramming. I know that's what it took for me. I had to be listening to the... Thank you, Michelle, for the crown. Thank you for that investment. I had to be listening to the things that was worth me investing in order for me to change. The things that I was putting my time in, the things that I would put my money into. Thank you for the TikTok. Appreciate that love. The things that I would put my time and my efforts in order for things around me to change, for me to see the blessings of my actions. So it's always going to be gratitude and appreciation for those who seek to step forward. Man, ain't nobody always right. And for those who you think are, they just done got better at the system of how they function to catch themselves, to where now they have a fail-proof system, to where, hey, even when I go through things, B, I'm going to learn from it. So I'm going to what? See how I get better every time. And to me, them the proper ABCs. Them is the proper ABCs, you feel me? Stop being so hard on yourself. Gotta stop being so hard on yourself. And it's the fact that you so hard on yourself that life is so hard on you. Promise you. Promise you. And you don't gotta take my word for it, but just try it for a couple of days. Try it for, man, after you try it for a couple of days and you start to see, dang, hold on, my load is lighter. Because I don't feel so bogged down by, darn, this is what I'm supposed to be going through. This is what's supposed to be happening to me. You start to notice, dang, hold on. It ain't going to happen immediately. Because guess what? All the time you put into thinking things are supposed to happen to you, you got to put just as much time in to thinking things is supposed to happen for you to change. These things have been, matter of fact, you don't even got to reinvent the wheel. Just recognize that these things have been coming up on you for you to cause a change in your life. And for a lot of us, it's to change the way that we look at life. So therefore, the things in your life you'll see like, dang, hold on, it's about perspective. It's all about perspective, meaning you can't get nothing that you can't conceive. And everything that you perceive about life is why your life is the way it is. Don't be deceived. Don't be deceived to think anything else. That's the root cause. How you think of you. That's why it's important that you change the way that you think of you. Can't worry about how other people think. That's something that you can't change. And quite frankly, that goes into the book that we have for the people, you know what I'm saying, that we have for the family, about how to stop being so ambiguous. Thank you for being in here, Kalisha. Stop being so ambiguous. For a lot of us, we so ambiguous to the point, that's why we hard on ourselves. Appreciate you being in her open light. Appreciate y'all sharing the live too. Appreciate y'all. Save a life out here. Share it as many times as you would like. If anything you hear that touch you just right, make sure you support the platform. Hit up the Cash App, hit up the gifts, you feel me? Share the live, record it, put it on your platform. People need to hear this type of information, this unpatronizing, this loving message. Stop being so hard on yourself, because at the same time, you ain't did nothing you weren't taught to do. And if you recognize these things was taught to you, then you can teach yourself different things. Like I was saying, you got to sometimes put on headphones of different affirmations. We have affirmations as well, you feel me? Over here at the Blacks Rehab, that, these things will allow for you to reprogram your mind, rehear conversations that you should have been hearing about yourself, instead of the conversations that's to your detriment, that leave you in a state of feeling like it's nothing you can do better than what you've been doing. And if you keep on doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the situations that you say you don't want to be involved in. Stop being as though you're overwhelmed. Be grateful for the work. And you will start seeing the workload lighten. You start seeing the workload lighten up. Even if it's only in your perspective. Once it becomes lighter in your perspective, guess what? You'll be willing to tackle it and lighten the load physically. It must start in your spirit, though. first. You must get it in your mind first. So then it can connect with the passions of your heart. And you can muster up the strength to get some guts to do what you must. And that's to stand in your purpose, to be an inspiration to those who must come along the same way, or those who must do it in their own way. Stop looking at every moment like it weighs so much in the wrong direction. As we're seeking to lighten the load, look for things that are going to give you the direction that will make things lighter on your trip. You feel me? Don't carry so many things. If you start to recognize you don't need all of these things, they say the richest man or woman is the one that realizes they don't need nothing. They don't need nothing. Meaning they start to understand the ways of nature and how everything is provided from us. But we have to understand the ways of nature and the ways of creation. These terms go hand in hand to the point you'll start to recognize how all things have been planned out ahead of time. So to come from this state of lack, or this mind frame of lack, is the reason why we're in a state of lack. You wonder why you're fearful, is because you think that. To have a thought is to reach out to a place, or to put somebody there, or put yourself there. Let this all be light work. Let this all be light work. For a moment of time, stop doing things that you feel like weigh heavy on your heart. Or don't do it until your heart is light. You feel me? Don't do it. I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to say, you know what? I'm going to get you when I ain't mad. I'm going to spank your butt when I ain't mad. And she say, I asked her, you feel me? Mom, why you say that? She like, cause I'm trying to get it over with. I'm like, you finna do it, get it over with, you feel me? She like, cause you're not supposed to whoop your child while you angry to provoke your child to anger. Basically, shoot, you being an example of what anger is and how to take out your anger. To the point of a lot of us, we don't break that down to our kids. To the point, these whoopings or these disciplines to them this is how you express your anger. This is how my parents express that they are upset with me. So when I get older, this is how I'm expressed to other people. I'm upset with them. And as much as it might seem like we being overly aggressive and we don't care about other people, the fact that we care enough to put our hands on each other, the fact that we care so much to put our hands on each other because we have certain differences, sometimes we care a little bit too much. You feel me? Sometimes we care a little bit too much to the point we over-exaggerate our caring. To the point we smothering out the very people that we say we care about. We putting the very people that we say we was gonna help in a more helpless state than they was before we came along that way. Again, we should look to make life easier on each other. Remember, we already went to the plug. My bad, I'm moving a little fast, but you know, we've been on this fast track for a minute. We on the come up. You see, we white tea on the block. We on the come up. We white tea on the block at this point. Like, y'all already know. We done went to go see the plug. We done peeped the setup, the different mind frames that set us up to keep on perpetuating nonsense. You feel me? Recognize most people are out of balance because of their lack of basic necessities. So when we mock people for the things that they don't got, come on, G. You triggering some deep stuff. So when you get what you asking for, meaning when you get the response, because you can't tell nobody how to respond when you taking your shots. You feel me? When you taking your shots, you better make sure you hit and don't miss. But if you take a shot that somebody can respond to, you don't tell nobody how they can respond. Just stop taking shots that you don't have to. You feel me? When you become a real one, or when you understand the levels of maturity that we must rise to with the power that we have in our grasp, which is in our mind, our spirit, our hands, everything we do. You won't just be rushing to take a life. You won't be just rushing to speak ill of somebody and take a life that way. You won't be rushing To let it sit in your mind how you feel about a person to the point of y'all was to see each other, that'll be consequences and repercussions, and you will excuse yourself from the greatness that is you. Meaning you have the ability to think, what's the greatest thing that I must do in each situation? And again, the greatest effect that we can have on each other in each situation is to inspire. And you will see that even in inspiring other people, you will inspire yourself to keep on going, to keep on being an example of what an inspired life truly is. For a lot of us, we don't wake up. We don't wake up feeling inspired to inspire some more. You feel me? Or be inspired some more. Look at some great things in life that's going on. And like my sister's True Spit is saying, let it heal you. For a lot of us, we've been seeing so many ill things in life, to the point we need to see the balance. For us to see the greatness that is life. Life is full of diversity. Meaning, there is good, there is bad. But I need you to know on so many levels, how you deal with a thing is how you deal with all things. If you was walking around smiling all the time, they'll lock you up. Because your personality don't change. But for a lot of us, it seems like we only want things that happen to us that we can smile about. But you got to learn to celebrate your growth. Or a moment in time for you to grow. Everybody talk about rising to the occasion, but when the occasion comes, we look at it like it's such an insurmountable obstacle because of the connotation in which we heard these words. But you must purge, or you must detox yourself of anything that don't serve you transcending the moment. Because again, we done went to the plug. We peaked the setup to reverse the crouch. We is going in at this point. You must not get the situation. We done surpassed the trap. We done broke through the corners of the block to let them know we will not stop. Meaning we peeped the setup, all the things that was beset us, to say, you know what? You down and you will never get up. But guess what? All this was told. All this was told to you. So you will never feel up. And those who want to hold you back will never get hit up. The hit up is for you to recognize your growth before the hiccup. Recognize your growth before the hiccup. Recognize your growth before you got to be set down, y'all. Recognize your growth before somebody say something out the way and then you got to, you know what I'm saying, be like, darn, I remember a time. Recognize, let's get that far ahead of it, you feel me? Let's get that far in love with ourselves and our growth. To the point, now when we focus on pain, or we recognize the pains in our life, what's up with it, long hair? We recognize the pains in our life. We start to recognize it's because of the growing pains. Rather than you're not doing no work. So when it come to recognize there is work, you're like, I ain't been doing no work all this time. I can't stand work. No, you got to marry work. You got to marry work. Like I said, y'all, we here to get this work. And we going to keep on cycling this. So you got to marry the work. You know, have something old, something new. What's up with it, Lady J? Something new, you feel me? As well as you got to have something weird about you. Meaning do something out the usual. Like normally I wouldn't do this, but we got to keep the party going. Some of us are learning. We got to learn again though. Some of us are learning over and over to play the background, y'all. Because it's when you get in the background that you can see how the things work. You know, they say like if you was to ever go into the background, I remember I used to listen to Lauryn Hill Unplugged a lot. You feel me? That was one of my favorite joints to check out. Lauryn Hill Unplugged when I was going through my transformations. And she would talk about how they went through the back door, you know what I'm saying, a Disney World. And how you could see the inner workings of how they put the thing together to the point. A lot of us, if we could see how things work, we probably wouldn't think it was all that great. Because we think things just happen overnight. But when you understand the work that must come into place for things to come into play or to appear as great as you see them, there's a lot of work that must be done in the dark, as well as there's a lot of work that's still being done in the dark, even though things appear the way they do. So as much as you see me in front of you talking to you, there's a lot of inner workings that's taking place. I'm being merely a conduit. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I'm able to be like the horse in the stable. I'm able to keep on running this race no matter what's in my face. Shout out to my mama. She in the building at all times. Because I am my mother. And I am my father. But every time I look up, I got to be about my mother and my father's business. And the truth is, if you don't plug in to the ways of light, it will dim your light and you will lose feeling in this life. And you know what happens once we begin to lose feeling, y'all. Tap that screen. Please share the live. Please share the live. There's somebody out here that needs to hear this. Rather than, back in the day when I remember we used to be in church and my big mom used to say, man, shoot, people in church used to say, because my big mama used to always say this. But she was like, you should have been in church today. People would say stuff like that. And, my thing is, I'm going to get it so I can tell them. Same thing with this, y'all. Let's get it so we can tell others. And if this ain't your specific gift that God gave you, or if you feel like you're not ready, just share the live. And let our energy do the talking. Because I tell people this all the time. No matter what you want to try to put me up on the pedestal, I'm always going to put the greatness back to the greatness that is us. And the greatness that is us is within us. Shout out to my G, MDG. The greatness that is us is within us. So as long as I keep on pointing to the things that are tangible or that are going to, again, fade away, go through the changes that they must go through. Thank you, MDG. You feel me? Because we are God's having a human experience. Meaning, as humans, there are certain ways that seem so idiotic. But even in those moments, that's you learning to be a human. So stop being so hard on yourself so you can get the point. Liken to the child that's trying to learn something, but they so frustrated. They so beat down by the weight and the pressures of their parents, because their parents is like, you know what, baby, if you don't get this, you're going to be poor. And they can hear it in their voice, even though the parents not saying it. They can hear it in the connotation. They can hear the worry. They can see the fear in their mom and daddy faces. But I come to tell y'all, we don't got to worry. Be light. Lighten your load. Know that along the way, in order for us to grow, we must not put so much pressure on each other. We must not put so much pressure on ourselves. So in turn, this is how we treat everybody else. This is how we treat everybody else. I come from some beautiful people. But I came to recognize a lot of times, because of the ways that we accepted at certain times, even the most people that I looked up to from the jump was my parents, you feel me? At times, I recognized even my parents was down on themselves because of how other people viewed them and didn't appreciate the light that they came to bring to situations. And so I stand on my shoulders. I stand on the shoulders of my ancestors and my elders, my parents, those who came before me. And I say, I lighten my load because I now know that it's not because I quench the spirit that is me that I'll be better for, but it's because I release the spirit freely. No matter what is in front of me, no matter what society say they're going to do with me or what has been done to me, I must be me. I must be the light in the dark. And after being so much in places where it's perceived dark, you begin to see the light that is the perceived dark. The perceived dark. You recognize there is no separation. There is no separation. The all-knowing is always present. It's only in what you believe. Therefore, that will be your present state. But all the while, just waiting on you to reach out and say, Father, what must I do? Live in your purpose. Live in your purpose. Peace to you, Nick. We appreciate your energy, God. Live in your purpose. Learn to appreciate the things of creation. Learn to appreciate how things come into being. So therefore, you can appreciate every being. We got 11 beautiful people in here. If you could, please tap that screen. Please tap the screen. You feel me? Share the live, save a life. This is how we put our energy together to change the vibration around us. Let's bring our atmosphere with us. Let's bring our atmosphere with us. Come on, now let's do this work. Let's do this work. We fail from, man, come on. What's funny is we all fail for the bougie life of being scared of the boogeyman, of rejection. Dudes got their roof blew off because they always want to keep their hair cut, be stunting on everybody, act like they got everything everybody else don't got, putting on the biggest fronts. Women had to get frontals over time because they always got to have their hair done to the nine because people keep shaming them for their natural hair, for their natural state, to the point when we say why we out of our mind, we got to think. We got to pay attention to what kind of vessel we're in. The high technology that it is. How things are absorbed into our bodies. How chemicals fire off and become emotions or thoughts. So when you apply certain chemicals, come on now. Somebody got that. I don't got to spell it all the way out. And I don't say that as though whoever didn't get it won't. I say that as though let that be something for you to come along to. So when it makes sense to you, it come up on you and you don't got to say, oh man, such and such is so great. You recognize the greatness that is you. The greatness that is you. Don't be so fearful of rejection that you don't be yourself for 1 second longer. If you've been scared to be yourself, recognize today is the first day of your life. Now let's make the best of your 24. Because if you're not being yourself, you're not living life, baby. You're not living life. I understand what you must have had to do because of the strategies that you imply. That you've been in war. You've been at war this whole time. But I need for you to be able to come outside. And the only way you're going to be able to come outside is if you be yourself. That's the true version of coming outside. When they say, hey, these people scared to come outside. Hey, it ain't just these young men that's at war. You feel me? And should be strategic and not just be jumping out here. You feel me? It's all of us. A lot of us are scared to be ourselves. We scared to say that ain't right, little baby. We scared to say that ain't, we scared to help them on the right plate because we not setting the right examples ourselves. We know good and well if we say something, what's going to be said about us. We might not be doing the same thing they doing, but in some way or another, we killing something. Whether it's our words or the thoughts that we don't let be heard or shown. Because for a lot of us, just because we don't say nothing, we wind up thinking ourselves to death. We wind up thinking ourselves to death. All the while never connecting the dots. Because we so compartmentalized to the point we confused to death. Confused to death. To the point we comfortable in our confusion. And by the time we pass away, we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. That's what they mean by ignorance is bliss. Meaning you will pass away and not know what the purpose for this was. Never feeling none of the emotions. It's meant for you to go through all the emotions. For you to learn from each one. Again, looking back at your relationships and saying, man, this relationship taught me this. This relationship taught me this. When y'all out here vetting these people or talking to people, whether it's your friendships or somebody that you planning on creating a kinship with, meaning a family. When y'all talking about y'all past issues, we gotta talk as though we learned something from these situations. Not talk about what other people must learn. Because otherwise, the focus on what you must learn is the least of your concern. Remember, what we focus on is what we reach out to. or what we wind up being, the place that we reach in consciousness. If we know, hey, the way we feel about these things weigh heavy on us, then in order for us to walk light, peace to you, Marcus, appreciate you being here. In order for us to walk light, we got to stop weighing on the heavy side. We got to stop holding these things in. We got to speak our mind at times, and at the same time recognize that sometimes when we speak our mind, the responses that we get let us know we don't even need to continue in that manner. We don't need to continue in that direction. Take your lesson and be better for it. And be better for it. We got to think the ways of light. Appreciate you, Marcus, for that investment. As I seek to invest in you, we're speaking these words of light, of life. We come up by being solutionists, y'all, as we bring light to situations in this way. If being in the dark was a problem, so we couldn't do work that we needed to do in order to see the next day, you know, for a lot of us, we don't recognize it's all about preparation. In your downtime, prepare to be up. In your uptime, prepare to be down. So guess what? It'll always be a balance that you can provide in your own life, creating a security blanket for yourself. But if you don't understand the variables on either side, then how can you prepare yourself for something that you don't know is there? And as protectors of each other, providers of knowledge, whether we know it or not, each one of us is telling a story by the way we live our life. So even if you don't want to be responsible for you, be responsible for you, that you show to everybody else that's living this life and how it affects them and how they become who they are in this life. By way of the examples they seen. Let us not forget that we all are but a collective of experiences. So let's help us. Let's help each other along this experience, along this journey. Along this journey. For a lot of us, we done been told we got free will, so we just keep on reasoning out of doing. Reason out of doing, meaning we keep reasoning ourselves out of exercising our will at this point. Because we done been told we got free will. So, you know, it's like, shoot, okay, well, I got free will, then I got the free will to reason out of doing nothing. But let me tell you this, though. The choice to do nothing or the decision to do nothing is a choice, too. And there are side effects that come along with us doing nothing. Peace to you, Matt. Good to see you, my G. There are side effects that come along with us doing nothing. I remember when I was a kid, man, we was at a revival. I can't remember exactly, but I want to say the man's name was Pastor. Ooh, appreciate that. Shining Star. Thank you for that investment, Queen, as I seek to invest in you. The king was saying, we are all but little G's, meaning little gods. We have the power to change our lives. Appreciate that investment. Appreciate that, love. Thank you so much. We have the power to change our lives. But for a lot of us, we downplay our energies to the point we can't see where we can make the changes. And it causes us a cognitive dissonance in our own lives. Daily. On a daily. Let me read that definition of cognitive dissonance, because I want to be specific what I mean by that cognitive dissonance that's formed in us to the point we can't formulate how to make the proper changes to be better by living this life. Thank you, Master Al, for coming through. Appreciate you coming through, Queen T. Kishana, good to see you, love. Shout out to everybody that came through. If you could, tap that screen, share the live, drop a comment, say what's up, because this is my way of saying what's up to y'all. Don't say I don't rock with you. I done took you to the plug, let you pick the setup so we can reverse the curse. We on the come up, and we about to cycle back around for the family that just came in so we can come up together for real, though. Cognitive dissonance. In the field of psychology, cognitive dissonance is the perception of contradictory information. You feel me? For a lot of us, we got this perception of contradictory information, and we keep on trying to live our life based on it. It's like, come on, bro. Everything you saying you trying to do is the opposite of what they got you doing. You saying you all about life, but yet and still you keep on ridiculing other people's life. And can't see that you doing it. Meaning you have a cognitive dissonance to the point it's making you become hypocritical. And you're no good to yourself nor anybody else at that point. You can't help yourself, let alone somebody else. We got to stop with that. We got to be as the ways of light. Have a gentle touch. Use a gentle voice. That's understandable. Yep, hurt people do hurt people. And that's why we as hurt people got to come together to heal each other. To heal each other. So if I know I'm going out here, come on, this is what I mean by intentionalizing our energy. I know somebody going to be like, darn, you telling them to go into, man, shout out to you, Grateful. I was just telling somebody the other day, my name is Grateful, you feel me? Because I am grateful, truly, and learning to be more grateful every day. Some people might say, you teaching people to stay in messed up situations. No, I'm not. That is not what I'm saying. But what I will say, that's what I'm talking about. Get that sun gaze in, you feel me? What I will say is, sometimes we pull out a lot sooner than we should, or we pull out and don't recognize that's part of the healing process. And what I mean by that is, sometimes we break up with somebody and we like, dang, why they got their stuff together now? They couldn't do that when we was together. You feel me? You was there to heal them. You feel me? And even losing you was part of the healing. Sometimes we don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Because we like, why am I investing all this time? But when I leave, you want to get it right. I appreciate you, Nico. We in this together. Same fight. You feel me? I'm just laying down the law mama gave me. You feel me? And then the other way is, because I said already how, you know, when we together, we just look at it like, dang, you supposed to do this for me. But I ain't supposed to, man, I'm glad you getting confirmation, Queen. Because we be so hard on ourselves to the point we can't appreciate the answers that we download ourselves. We can't appreciate the answers that we download ourselves because we distrust ourselves so much for our inactivity. And our inactivity comes by way of the excuses that we accept ourselves. You feel me? That we accept ourselves. Appreciate you, Miss Storm, coming through here. You feel me? So again, stop being so hard on yourself so you can formulate better thought processes about yourself and get the proper downloads. And you'll stop being so overwhelmed in your mind state to the point you just keep on creating situations that overwhelm you. Just keep on getting situations that overwhelm you. Let's say you'll follow back. Appreciate that love, Queen. Keep on getting situations that overwhelm you because that's the environment that you're creating. Thank you, Lady Jack, for showing love on both broadcasts. I appreciate that love. That's dedication. Using your energy for upliftment. At the end of the day, we are the greatness that we've been seeking the whole time. We are the latest and greatest. So the fact that we keep on dogging ourselves is the reason why the future ain't gonna be that great. Because we ain't gonna do nothing as long as we feel like we can't. Peace to you, Shelly Mo. We ain't gonna do nothing. We ain't gonna do nothing. If y'all new around here, if you ain't following me already on TikTok, make sure you send me a follow. Tap that screen, share the live, save a life around here. You know, stop looking at every moment like it weighs so much on the wrong direction. As we are here to lighten our load. Peace to you, Michelle. How we gonna rise back up to the heavens if we weighing so heavy? You know we can't leave in this body. Why? Because this body is weighted down. But you gonna be just as heavy as this body if you keep on holding on to the things of this body. Keep on blaming yourself. Keep on blaming yourself. All that's doing is making your heart heavy. The things that you're conscious of in your heart that's gonna be the light. That's gonna be the light. You feel me? That's why they keep on showing you these pictures. You feel me? Where it's a fire in the chest. It's because we gotta raise that fire from our gut, learning to be in touch with our intuitions, the understandings of the gut, the darkness that we came from, the womb that our mothers carry. You feel me? Rising up to the heart consciousness, connecting that with what we understand of this life, that we've been able to reason from here to the point we bring balance by marrying the two. Remember, that's where we get to the point we do things out the norm. Because for the most part, the norm is usually based on if you're an analytical person or if you're a creative mind. Oh yeah, we definitely should, Nico. Let's get that together. Nico, let me put my Instagram in the chat. Hit me up. I'm gonna put my Instagram in the chat. Matter of fact, my Instagram is Goldie, GOLDI 86 mine. No, it's 86 locks. LOCS. Goldie, GOLDIE 86 LOCS. If somebody could put that in the chat, I would greatly appreciate that. Again, y'all, we got to stop being so hard on ourselves so we can get the proper direction. When you start being hard on yourself, it puts you in this fear of flight mind frame to where now you're rushing to make decisions. And we know in any situation, peace to you, Demetri, good to see you, love. In any situation, if you're making rushed decisions, you're going to get rushed outcomes. And a lot of times when you get these rushed outcomes, it's like, dang, you took a temporary situation and created a long-term issue because you rushed. And then weigh out all the factors to bring proper balance to the situation. You feel me? If something is going wrong, you feel me? If you come in and be wrong too, that's taking it further out of the way. You know what I'm saying? But if something is going wrong and you come in and try to set it right, now we can bring some balance to the situation. I'm trying to tell you, patience is definitely a virtue. You feel me? A virtue. And here it is, how you get patience sell back to you. Oh, okay. You pay your attention at work with your customer service and your willingness to help people, right? That's your currency that you give, your attention, your time, your life, wherever you are in life. And they give you money as a trade-off. I'm just saying, when the old folks say they'll sell you your virtues back, or life will have to sell your virtues back because our lack of ability to be self-reliant by understanding the faculties that is us. Peace to you, Shay Love. Peace to you, God. The faculties that is us, and being able to intentionalize the technology that we living in to be to our upliftment, so then that can reverberate to anybody that comes in contact with us. So when we open our mouth, we got something to say to add to life, rather than take away, talking bad about such and such. How they quality of life ain't as great. How this person right here don't understand nothing about life. Now we dogging each other for the spiritual state that we're in mentally, as well as the physical state that is affected by our spirit, and never recognizing the root cause is people's spirits are broken. And our spirits are broken because we keep letting each other down. Even when we make it through stuff that we should be championed for. We victimize the victim. And then be too scared to tell the victimizer about themselves and create systems that keep that from happening. Instead, we keep on creating systems or leaving loopholes for certain things to happen and then complaining after. And not wondering, and realizing why our kids respect filth, because that's what they've been taught to do. Imagine you go to school and the things that your teacher is telling you is to the detriment of your family. It started at home. And the underlying of that is, your mama ain't teaching you nothing. That's why you coming in here showing out. So then when you respond to that, you feel me? Now, don't get me wrong. Kids should never have to even be in this conversation. But the fact is, when you put your kids around other adults who are really not responsible, because they don't have the village mind frame, nor are they part of your village a lot of times, they going to say certain things that's culturally appropriate in their culture. But it's not to your betterment, so it's to your detriment to keep on leaving your kids in that state, and at the same time, making them respect this. To the point, the trade-off is, they begin to lose respect for themselves and you, and value more the people who did what to get in power. Man, somebody got that. I don't gotta repeat the history. But I'm saying we got to pay attention to that. And that's why we got to support. And that's why we are. And I'm thankful, grateful for the people that support such platforms that are reprogramming our minds, that are re-edifying us to the greatness that we knew us to once be. That's why we so hard on ourselves. But instead of being so hard on yourself, use it as drive, the purpose that you know you have in you, the desires that you have that you want to help people. Use that as drive to carry it out, so you don't become doubtful in your inaction. And that's what leads to you furthering the inaction. Thank you, Anisha, for sharing the live. Appreciate that, love. Again, y'all, if this thing hitting home, please hit that like button, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, share the live, hit the cash app. Soon we gonna have the PayPal open, because man, we got these summer camps coming for the babies, like, as well as the retreats for the family. Because we gotta bridge these gaps. We gotta stop being over here, well, it's the women fault. We gotta stop being over, it's the men fault. Well, it's the parents' fault. Like, we gotta bridge these gaps, y'all. We gotta bridge these gaps. And the beautiful thing is we can. The beautiful thing is that's how we gonna be successful. Because as you see, we not happy. We being successful in all these other systems that people create, but we not happy that our family not happy. And that's a beautiful thing, y'all. It's a beautiful thing that we haven't got so cocky or puffed up to the point we like, I don't care, I'm successful. But you hear people talking about, man, I want to fix my family. You hear people talking about, I'm bettering myself so I can be better within my family. Because that's where it really starts. You bettering yourself so you can be better within your family. Each one teaches one by your example. We tried it before, telling each other what was right, but not doing it ourselves. We seen the babies only repeated what they saw. And again, we don't fault the generations before us, because we recognize it isn't until you 3 generations removed that you can see the prosperous ways or the error in our ways towards the progression that we trying to get to. Is Big Mama say, get back to the way. Get back to the way. And the way was, we valued each other so much that we wouldn't dare let no conversation, nobody else, or us being disingenuous with each other come between the love that we felt for each other. And don't forget, peace to you, Nene. Good to see you, God. Don't forget, love got to be traded with understanding. So you can't keep telling people you love them, but you're not seeking to show understanding to them. Peace to you, God. Peace to the young God that's listening. The future. Remember, y'all, it's the way that we treat these young babies, let alone our daughters. You feel me? That's going to be the next generation. So when it comes to, when I talk to the rebel spirit, y'all, or warrior spirit, these are things that's necessary for us to constantly be breaking the yoke or the status quos, the labels that's being put on us to keep us perpetuating the same old, same old. You know how the saying go. If you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, that's insanity. And I'm going to go further and say that they got results out here where they tested. That's a diseased mind. Meaning you're in a fear state. You're rushed to thought. That's why you keep on perpetuating your problem or compounding your issue. Because again, when you're down, you're not preparing to be up. When you're up, you're not preparing to be down. So you keep finding yourself in a state of imbalance. You're in shock. You can't believe you had to drop. Peace to you, Ashley. Peace to you, Open Light. But like stock, y'all. Our energy. If you ever seen like your energy on what they call them machines when they hook you up to tell you and they flatline. Before they flatline, that thing going up and down. That's how our energy is. That's how our energy is. That's how energy is. And energy is neither evil nor good. But you can harness certain energies, which we harness by even existing. You can harness your energy and you can apply it or take one with the vibration that is being dragged along behind creation. Because whether you know it or not, the creatives are winning. Those that create the futures for others to live in, those are the winners. That's why you see certain situations within civilizations where certain people was made to hold up. But if you pay close attention and you ain't so caught up in the losses, the things they telling you to focus on so you keep on recreating, them, you will see that we're in a new renaissance. Invention after invention is coming into existence. But if you only focused on one set of possibilities, because remember, we know all possibilities are present at what? All times. And this is not against anybody's so-called systems, meaning your ways of life in order to keep thriving or keep life going. This is not. But this is each one of us being responsible for our part in this, to the point we can make each one of us better for the fact we was living. Each one of us is telling a story. But what will your story add to other people for the fact that you was here? People don't remember what you was trying to do, but they remember how you made them feel. So again, some people, I know they don't want to hear this conversation. I know it's kind of irritating, but I remember being irritated because I was programmed to not worry about the things that are going to be becoming of me, but to be able to function in this system so everybody can survive. We had to make people focus on certain jobs. But I want you to know you're so much greater that you can do this too. You can do this too. You can learn to be responsible for your own actions so that you can thrive, and no matter what situation that you put into, you can do more than survive. You can triumph whatever obstacles. And you don't have to keep on subjecting yourself to neglecting your basic necessities. Because that's where you get to the point when you see people acting out. When you see people lashing out at the lives of other people because they like, shoot, you don't care nothing about my life. I know y'all see me over here. Instead, we create perceived handicaps about what other people are going through. We say, oh, that's the single mama issue. Oh, that's the bad child issue. Oh, that's the don't want to take care of his children issue. You feel me? We formulate all kind of reasons to say each other is crazy so we don't got to deal with it. And all the while blaming each other, the other one for turning their head. Well, you turning your head on this. Well, you turning your head on this. Well, let me tell you, when it comes to specializing, let's slow that down. Specializing. Let's say it like that. Because when it comes to these words, it's merely vibrations. My can mean one thing and my can mean another thing. So when we slow that down and we hear specializing, yeah, you got to recognize we got on special eyes. Meaning what you focus on is what's going to be actualized in your life. We human beings. Meaning what you perceive is what you going to conceive and receive and eventually achieve. So when you start despising on what's towards the upliftment of you and everybody that you come in contact with, or who come in contact with your living, then you'll see a difference. Then you'll see a difference in this existence. Not until then, though. Not until then. But the only way you're going to get to that point is if you understand how this thing works. By taking the time to put the work in with you. Because through the understanding of ourselves, we understand everything else. They build cars based off the understanding we have of ourselves. They build houses based off the understanding we have of ourselves. It's based off the understanding we have of a womb, heart, and everything that we compartmentalize things. Or we have, different rooms. No different than the rooms in your heart or the ventricles in your heart. I'm just saying, G. I'm just saying. And speaking things into existence from the thoughts that I've been having. Remember, every thought that you have fires off as a spark into this existence, adding to the elements at play. Now, if the thoughts that you have today turn into your tomorrow, will you be okay with it? If not, recognize that is your today. What you thought about yesterday is your today. And if you don't like it, lighten your load. When you used to worry, don't worry no more. Peace to you, cut. Good to see you, God. Don't worry no more. Don't care. Don't worry about what people got to say, because a lot of y'all only worrying because somebody else told you supposed to worry. Or you seeing somebody else worry. Remember, liken to the killer. Once he knocks somebody off, he see everybody as the same body. No matter how many times he do it. He keeps seeing the same body over and over. And it's the same time. It's the same thing with us every time. That we keep on letting certain parts of ourselves die. We keep seeing the same action over and over. The inaction. Because the last time we ain't do nothing, so you know what, I ain't gonna do nothing again. But be weird. Marry yourself to this life. Remember the old. Get ready to do something new by being weird in your thinking. So you can bring other things into view. So other people may be better for what you chose to do. A lot of us, we just want to keep on doing what everybody else doing so we can say, shoot, it don't work for me like it worked for such and such. But get it, when you got the specialized that you keep seeing what other people going through, guess what? It's meant for you to help. That's why you see it. Not for you to help yourself to complaining. All right, I see you in a minute, Queen. Not for you to help yourself to complaining. But for you to help yourself to obtaining a new level to yourself. A new expression of help. Are you a helpmate or are you a hellmate? Meaning you just keep on more hell in my life. Even if you hot nature and you used to being hot, if somebody come around and make you, like, it don't take much for you to get overheated when you hot nature. So again, you don't need somebody that's keeping up mess for no reason. You feel me? You don't need that. Peace to you, Angel. How you doing, God? You don't need that in your life. Peace to you, Gmail. Good to see you, God. Recognize we have to be one with the ways of light. Lighten your load. Stop letting people trigger you to explode because you made excuses along the way. That if they say this, this is what I'm going to do. Thank you, Gmail, for investing in yourself as I seek to invest in you. Again, if any of this hit home, appreciate y'all keeping this platform going. Because again, this is an opportunity for us, y'all. This is an opportunity. The times we living in, we got an opportunity that most generations did not have. They had to go along with the status quo in order to get along. For us to exist at this point. When we talking about everything on demand. Peace to you, Gina. Good to see you, love. We talking about everything on demand right now. Oh, I love your reception to it. To the point, guess what? We have the ability to, put our energy, the currency that they give us because we pay attention at work enough to get certain jobs done and they exchange money for that effort. We have the opportunity to put forth what we feel like is the best thing for us to thrive in. The best systems for us to thrive in. Now pay attention to the things that people telling you. The things that people talking about. Is it all about them? Do they understand the difference between, you know what I'm saying, manifestations and worrying? Or manifestations and karma. Appreciate that investment, Gina. As I seek to invest in you, we have now become allies. So as I rise or as you rise, we rise together. And our people will rise even further because we chose to put our energies together. Remember, if you got the specialize, you got to specialize. You feel me? You got to specialize in helping that type of person. Meaning if you went through certain things that helped you understand why certain people find themselves in certain conditions, dealing with these perceived handicaps, these things that we go through, that the only way we're going to overcome them if we see them as though there's things that we can overcome. If we see them as an opportunity for us to express muscles, strength, a present weakness shouldn't be, that shouldn't be the end of the story. That should be a future strength. But you won't get there unless you start talking about it from that connotation. And don't forget, we got connotations from what? When we was a baby. Having to learn how to acquiesce to our mothers and fathers for food, right? That's how we learn how to talk. So we had to pay attention to the connotation in which they said things to recognize, okay, the next time they speaking from that connotation, they gonna feed me. Now pay attention to the connotations that you're receiving from certain people that's talking to you. Is it all about building them up? Or are the things that they're saying to you, are they building you up? Even when you big them up, they say, you know what, I appreciate you though. Because even the way that I appear, it is to edify. I take the appearance sometimes of the lowest people amongst us, and I show a different side, because I found out that some of the people that I looked up to, they was looked down on in society. And I only found out this over time. But I come to recognize the reason why they found themselves being in the dregs of society, because society could not handle the genius that it was them. And we got to stop downplaying each other. To the point we ridicule each other to death, y'all. And then people start being less and less themselves. To the point all they keep on seeing is their younger self before they decide to give up on themselves or the thought of being themselves. You don't remember the time when you thought you could make a difference? It was like, no, but I'm going to do it different. I'm not going to treat people wrong. Tap back into that past life in your childhood. Because that's what we call it around here. That's your past life. Because for a lot of us, we don't live in the ways of our childhood no more. We experience so many things that now we living during a whole nother lifestyle. We was dependent on other people. We was believing everything people had to say. You feel me? But nowadays, we got our own understanding. Nowadays, we know how to draw our own conclusions. Meaning think for ourselves. And I'm willing that, these messages find you in perfect peace. I want to send a special shout out to everybody who took the time to invest in Black's Rehab. Because this has just been another moment in Black's Rehab. Where we were once known as the Black Sheep. But we took the time to go inside to see. When we opened the doors that is me. Opened the doors that is you. We found out, you know what? We are the greatness that we've been seeking this whole time. And within you, within me, is truly a gold mine. But you're going to have to dig deep to have the courage to let the world see you. To bear the brunt of, dang, they mocking me. But recognize, y'all, this is how this go. They try to mock you. First they mock you, then they praise you. Hear me now. First they praise you, then they mock you. Either way, guess what? Everything you've been through is so you wouldn't let that thing change you. Like I used to get all kind of whoopings, you feel me? Only for me to recognize, dang, you know what? I'm going to have to make a decision. Appreciate you, Darnell, for that investment as I seek to invest in you. It made me get to a point where I make decisions now, y'all, on what I want to do and if it's worth it, regardless of the so-called perceived consequence. And for a lot of us, we don't make decisions unless there's a consequence. That's why you keep finding yourself with your back against the wall before you actually do something in your life. Because there has to be consequences for you to do something. And that's how you've been programmed. But you can change that. You can change that by being assertive in your life. Affirming your greatness. So you feel like there's things that you can bring forth. But for a lot of us, we don't feel like there's no greatness in us. So that's why we so doubtful of tomorrow and everybody else who come around. I understand. I don't think people doubt me when they doubt the words that I speak or the message that was given to me. Because it ain't about me. But I seek to understand, meaning I seek to love people so I understand where they're coming from. I have to understand where they're coming from. If I truly love, remember, you got to be able to change those words out You got to be able to put understanding in the place of love. Otherwise, what type of love you talking about? A love you using a hold over somebody's head so they cooperate in the manner you want them to? Only for us to realize you don't care nothing about commitment. You don't care nothing about commitment. But peep the commitment that people have towards their discipline. And that'll let you know who you dealing with. If every time we talking about self-accountability, it's always, but what you gonna do for you? Or what you gonna do about all these people, something ambiguous that you can't control? Because the only thing you can control is how you respond to situations. That's the only thing we can control. But we've been taught to opt out of that and focus on things that are so out of our control that we feel like, guess what, it's hopeless. That's what happens. Thank you, Gina, for that investment as I seek to invest in you. That's what happens. When you start focusing on things that are so ambiguous, you start feeling hopeless. And once you start feeling hopeless, you start blaming everybody that's in the boat with you. And that's what we are. Women blaming men, men blaming women, children blaming their parents, parents blaming their children. All the while, we just keeping up confusion. Just keeping up confusion when the root cause is the separation of family. So we keep on arguing about how we don't want to be family. That's what's separating the family. You can't accept that your mama is your mama. Instead, you want the mama you seen on TV that's being promoted to you. Comparison is the killer of all joy. But for a lot of us, we think it's comparison that's going to fill all voids. No. It's the comparison that make you feel like you got a void. I remember being a little boy, man, and going to school and all the kids talking about what they ate last night. What they ate last night, you feel me? Peace to you, K-Share. Peace to you. Everybody was talking about what they ate last night, right? And, you know, everybody talking about they went out to eat or they ordered pizza. When I started comparing that, I lost sight of what my favorite food was. I used to love beanies and Wendy's. But the fact all these people talking about they went out last night, they ate pizza, you feel me? I started questioning my life. At that point, I felt like we was poor than the other little kids. You feel me? Like, so again, it's no different with the ways of life, bro. If you don't tap into the greatness of you and be sure of what you like and what's important to your plate, then this world will keep on tricking you out your keep on tricking you out your greatness. Keep on tricking you out. Dang, the blessing that is your life. Learn to appreciate your position in life. And you can grow in position at that point. But if you can't appreciate anything, life is just like that parent that loves to reward that child that sees the thing and know how to respond to it. Because the blessings is still coming. But for a lot of us, you know, we done trained our mind to not even pay attention to that. No different than a lot of, you know, so-called famous people you see them, they only respond to the negative comments. Because what? They done been so used to being praised to the point that don't even bother them no more. And truth be told, that's when you start losing feeling, losing touch with the people. Thank you, Mimi, for them likes. Appreciate that, love. Good to see you, God. Start losing touch with the people. Because you feel like that's just what they supposed to do. They supposed to praise me. We supposed to edify each other. And through me edifying you, you learn to appreciate me. Well, shoot, I'm coming over, Nick. We quit playing. You can't be talking like that, man. You feel me? I've been getting my little pescatarian on, like, for a couple of months, but I ain't gonna lie to you, in the past, 3 to 4 days, I've been back on it. Back on my, like, nah, I gotta chill for a second. But it's beautiful to see families still breaking bread together. You know what I'm saying? And once we start being real with each other at the table, we can grow even more. You know what I'm saying? That's what the beauty of those things was. And that's why the family had to be dismantled. That's why the family had to be dismantled. Meaning the family got to be purported as the craziest thing you can do in order for them to keep the norm in society of families being separated. All the while, when it's convenient, have contradictory information, cognitive dissonance of single mothers is the problem. Men not being with their kids is the problem. But then, okay, well, I'm supposed to stay in a relationship with somebody who hurting me? Like, make up your mind, my G. Make up your mind, my G. Most of all, stop playing with yourself. Set out to be a blessing. Set out to be a blessing. Stop worrying about what everybody else doing. Worry about your plight in this and your fight in this. You got this, champ. But thinking for other people is not what you was equipped for. You can learn to understand the thoughts of other people, but you got to be willing to. You got to be willing to. And even then, don't use that trying to get over on people to their detriment. Do not. Because I'm telling you, once you get to that point, hey, just like you don't give no slack on doing wrong, when you even just coming into the understanding of doing wrong, because that's really what the don't get no slack. You being conscious of what doing wrong is. To the point your conscience kick your own ass. Same thing. Once you become conscious of the ways of the spirit realm and how the mind works, yes, you could possibly use that to manipulate people, but there's consequences to it. Just like you can say what you want to say to me, but there may be consequences behind it. And you can't tell people how to respond like we started off with. You can't tell people how to respond once you don't cross somebody. Glad we was able to come full circle with this cipher, you feel me? We made it to the plug. We peeped the setup, you know what I'm saying? We like, that's good product. We done reversed the curse. We on the come up. Shoot, quite frankly, we through with the pack. We ready to go back. But, you know what I'm saying? Take you a little rest, chill with the fam. Cause you know that's what we do it for. Recognize you dope. You are dope. Even if people think you ain't nothing. Hey, you are more than something. There's so much more to you than beast eyes. To the point, it shouldn't be a surprise that people, it sell itself. People are attracted to you even if they don't know why. And that be the frustration a lot of time with us and people in our lives as well as them and you and their life. They don't know why you there. So then we begin to lash out on each other. But we here to inspire each other and be inspired by the access that we have to each other. And use our 6 degrees to edify each other up. Start noticing how you get blessed with stuff that people say they want. When you start asking to be a blessing. Start noticing it. That being said, I love you as myself. And it ain't nothing you can do about it. Like, get aggressive about that. You feel me? Have the energy for the right reason. Because I know we are one. And I'm so glad we in connection. Kinfo. Let me see what they talking about. Let me see what they talking about. Pull up a chair. Come over here to the round table where we break it all down. Say why. We just broke bread right now. For my family on YouTube, peace within, peace out. Make sure y'all have a lovely day.